Hit that button, Chief.
Well, it's hit. It's been hit for a little bit, but
Oh.
uh, but thank you for everyone for joining us for the very first or episode 0 of Project Webtoon podcast. I am going to be the illustrious host, starting out and I guess going on for the show for a bit. Sleepy, on the mic across the airways here. I have two of my great co-hosts, Art.
Arc Dragoon, yeah, Arc short. Go ahead.
For short. And we also have the magnanimous Seraph as well here.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Seraph.
Hey. Please excuse any of the video to picture we have right now. We're still getting things kind of set up as it is. So, but we're here. We're started.
This is actually really exciting.
Yeah.
I'm very happy. I'm very glad to meet other people who enjoy webtoons as much as I do. It's going to be really cool to get to know you guys through this, and it's going to be super fun.
Oh yeah. It's been kind of an interesting journey for this to get this all set up, but I'm definitely excited to actually be able to discuss some of this stuff, especially seeing a lot of these new webtoons that I've just been put onto because of another friend kind of getting me up and going on this.
Oh yeah, no, it's gonna be awesome to learn about many various different webtoons from you guys as well.
Oh yeah. I think when I was doing the first run drafts for all of this, I asked everyone for picks on this, and you guys gave me a pretty good laundry list of stuff to pick up. So I'm still I'm still working my way through even a chunk of that. There's over what 20, 30 different titles in there that you both gave me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so.
Sure.
I have nothing but time at work.
So. I know you do. You literally live in nothing but time.
I manage to get lucky sometimes at work to be able to sit down and read.
We're slow right now at my job, so I've had the opportunity to, but I'm also working on moving to another position in my job, so I'm pretty sure that's all about to go away here.
I freaking believe that. That's how the only times I actually get the time to time crunch on these things is Saturday and Sundays.
Yeah, that's generally the only time that I can actually focus down on some of this stuff. But when I get the time, I really dive into it. But I'd say let's get started. Some icebreakers. Let everyone know a little about each one of us. How I guess we all came into this to begin with. We'll just start off on some simple things. Favorite manga, webtoon, animes. What's your history?
I read anything that's not complete trash.
Wow.
You gotta be specific there, Chief.
No, because stuff in here. Sleepy here knows that I literally just sit at work most of the time, and I have so much time on my hands that I consume so much that I literally run out of stuff to read at some point.
Ark, I'd like to imagine that you at work, you're just Adrian Seraph, but with all manga and anime. There's just screens everywhere, and you're just clicking through each one, just absorbing all of the content.
Well, I'm generally done with almost 300 chapters every single day, give or take.
Wait, what?
This should be a perfect endorsement for anybody in the industry. If they're we need to figure out what kind of content really sells, but there's no way to aggregate it. No one can read all of this. And you're I know a person.
Hey, give me a second. I gotta answer the door really quick. Yep.
Go ahead. How about you, Seraph?
As of late, for favorite mangas and webtoons definitely Solo Leveling because of how in depth the art is. Mm-hmm. I love the style of it, the way they made Jinwoo go from zero to hero with just the base of his look.
Yeah.
And the way the basis of Solo Leveling for the leveling system for him in particular, and then the ranking system for all the other hunters is really nice. That's what I really like about Solo Leveling. It's probably definitely so far my favorite one out of all the webtoons I've read so far.
Oh, okay.
And I like just basic manga, animes. Definitely the Gundam series for me. I'm
okay.
So you're that guy.
Okay, you're that guy for anime. You're the Gundam guy.
Yeah, I'm a huge mecha guy. I
Okay,
love
well,
fucking
hey,
mechs, dude.
even better if you're the mecha person, I'm have more respect for you because usually if it's like I'm the Gundam person, it's like okay, you got anything other than Gundam? It's like no, I just do Gundam. It's like
Nah, man, I
but
love
there's
like
other
Big
mechas.
O, Evangelion and shit like that.
Oh,
Fucking
okay.
man, shit's fucking amazing.
Yeah. I came in on the hot take when Evangelion, not when it was super popular. This was way back when it was just starting.
Yeah, when it was new.
When it was super new and no one knew what the hell to like make of anything, you know? They just saw it and went, what? Yeah, so
Yeah, right.
for sure with that. I know you said some mangas in there. Like what do you normally read? Is it mostly just the shonen series kind of stuff?
Because of Noxie, I end up just reading a bunch of the shonen stuff that he sends me, like Jujutsu Kaisen and fucking like other things like Dr. Stone and shit like that.
Yeah. I've been liking the anime for Dr. Stone. Jujutsu Kaisen, I'm excited that it's actually getting picked up for an anime. But I've been reading it, and it's pretty funny. I really do like the main character, but I do like his teacher way more because it's just.
His teacher is such a clown.
like just straight up that scene of just him coming back after that whole like horrible incident, and he's just standing in the middle of the town and just like screaming, "I'm back on my bullshit." I'm like, what the hell?
Like, hey yo, guess what? I'm back on that bullshit. Let's get it.
I'm just wilding out because of that. Oh, that's crazy, but. Yeah.
I picked that up again.
What's up? Oh, yeah.
I picked that up again.
Yeah, it did. For me, I'm like Arc. I'm definitely an old head. I pretty much like like I said, anything that's not crappy. But even then, I'll watch some crappy stuff too, because I just want to get a full spectrum.
I'll watch trash. I'll read trash as long as it's not complete trash. Okay, like there has to be some sort of competence in it, or like enough. I understand when I'm reading translations and translations are bad, alright? I can forgive translations. It's when the story has no idea what the fuck it's doing, and I'm like, okay, no.
But even then, when the story sometimes doesn't have any sense, I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep going. I'm gonna just keep going down this horrible rabbit hole sometimes. It happens, but I definitely read a spectrum of for mangas, shonen. It's hard to say actually which one I started with, in all honesty, but I've gone through Bleach, I've gone through Naruto, My Hero Academia is kind of on my list right now. I read also a lot of shoujo too, because I just go all the way across the board. I really don't care. As long as the story is good and it's interesting and compelling, I'm probably gonna read it. It really doesn't.
If it gets me hooked, I would read it and watch it.
Yeah.
Like, if as long as it like gives them some interesting perspectives for me, then I would.
Yeah, that's more where I go with that. I'm definitely on just finding that interesting point that makes me kind of carry along through the story. Webtoons, pretty much everything on our list right now, I'm reading currently, and I've enjoyed it. Solo Leveling was like not a start one for me. Like I wasn't really feeling it for a little bit, but then the moment it picked up, I was like, all right, now I'm on board. I'm on top of this. Legendary Moon Sculptor, pretty much my friend threw that at me, and I dove right into it, and I haven't stopped since.
Yeah, like you literally just tossed me on it, and I'm like already at least like 7 chapters in already.
Oh yeah, and Art gave me Descent of the Dragon, the Demonic Master, and that one's been really crazy.
Yo, that one's absolutely wild. I really like it how it popped off within like the first 2 chapters, and then like the way it isekai.
There are consequences to his actions.
There's a lot of consequences to his
actions. He solves things, but like there's consequences. He doesn't understand what the fuck's going on. He's like, oh, I do stuff, and then things happen because I did stuff.
I'm still caught in the matter of if he's actually a good person or a bad person, kind of, just because of what he was in the past and kind of where it may be going with the future. But still, we'll definitely get into that. But that's definitely for me for what the anime, the mangas. We already kind of brought up our genres there, but favorite genres I'm guessing for all around is shonen for everybody. Shonen seinen.
There's no such thing as a favorite genre. I've told you I read everything as long as it's not.
Yeah, but you probably have one that you prefer more than others, or one that you read more consistently and frequently than others.
You're talking to a guy who reads fan fiction.
Yeah.
Right?
So okay. I am so Sorry, I should not include you in that questioning. Seraph?
Yes, Sleepy, yes.
I just,
That definitely showed it, alright?
Okay. See, you can give me a true and honest answer. When I get to him, it's like, why was this even...
He's gotta hit him with the roundabout answers.
Yeah. Theoretically, I don't really... It's like, god damn it. Alright. Yeah, favorite genre for me, of course, Shonen. That's where I started. Seinen, Shoujo, I would definitely walk into those every so often, but Shonen is mostly where I stick a lot of my my time and energy into. Yeah, all that good stuff. It's just so tasty. It's crunchy. It's real good to get into with that. Do we actually anybody have a favorite web creator? I tried to look up with it. It's kind of hard to like actually have one tied down because so many of them just have like one series that they're working on.
I'll say that the guy who's doing the solo leveling, Descent of the Demonic Master, and what Tomb Raider King. Yeah, like I don't remember which group is doing that, but they're doing a really good job with their art and such. It's good pacing. I can read it and understand most of the time what's going on, so it's fine.
Okay.
And the art is really nice too, which I really like about it. The
It's
contrast,
clean
in it,
looking.
the coloring, it's super nice and sleek. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it looks like it has some professional work behind it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the dude who does Peerless Dad.
I mean, I do too, but you're also reading Red Storm.
I know.
Yeah,
So I
Red
like
Storm,
both.
Peerless Dad. I was gonna say that aren't they the most like same art styles?
I mean, they're done by the exact same person. So.
Okay, yeah.
But whereas Red Storm is in the it started off a little bit in the colored and then it went to the traditional black and white, but all of Peerless Dad is colored. So I don't know if like it's the like he that's how they're separating it out, like, you know, Red Storm black and white, Peerless Dad all
I feel like
colored,
it's
that's
because
kind of
Peerless Dad has like less people to draw, or like for me to like try to keep up with everyone at this point, so he doesn't have to worry about all the colors. I feel like you lost the colors in Red Storm when like there were dozens upon dozens of people, and it was like, oh, who am I drawing now?
It really came up right after, you know, the main character went from teenage to like adult, when the amount of characters started increasing. So I probably figured that's where it happened in it. But those are probably two of my favorites right now. It's definitely Peerless Dad, solo leveling, that I consistently read and hope to like have a full arc with. I know solo leveling's pretty much right in the middle of its tournament arc right now, more than anything, kinda.
Well, more like they're on the Juju Island.
Well,
right?
they're on not tournament arc, but they're on like
They're on the Hunter X
they're on the Hunter
Island
x Hunter ant arc.
That's what
like,
it is.
The ant
Okay.
arc.
Yeah, with the king ant and
With
everything.
the king ant and everything, or the queen,
Yeah, the queen.
just before the king arrives. So, there's a whole lot to get into there with that. I guess we're with us moving along here so quickly at some of these breakdown things for this. It clearly seems that we're just trying to get right into the series because we just keep going to that as quickly as possible.
Yeah, no, it's so good you can't not talk about it. You know what I mean?
You really can't. You really can't. I'm actually gonna probably break this up in two since I want to like jump into those as quickly as possible. But I know we've already mentioned quite a bit of them, but for the series that we're gonna be like talking about each, I'd say every 2 weeks for these, since some of them take a little bit of time to actually come out. Yeah. For the list of things that we're gonna be covering here, we've got Unordinary, Descent of the Demonic Master, My Wife is a Demon Queen, The Legendary Moon Sculptor, Peerless Dad, Solo Leveling, and Inso's Law, which you just recently started there, Seraph.
Yes.
And I know that you only took a few chapters in, and you started really liking the main character and really getting into the story.
Oh yeah, no, it's Moonlight. It's fucking nice. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm reading as I'm talking right now. So it's just like...
he's trying to catch up. I mean, we've had some time to prepare, but even he's like, oh damn, I gotta get on this real quick before
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly. I'm a pretty fast reader, so like I just kind of like get through everything, no problem.
Oh, that's good. It's all good. It's all right. We still got time before we'll actually like even start covering some of the chapters here. But those are what we have for the list, and those may swap in and out as time goes on because I know some of them are probably getting close to where their first season's going to end. I'm thinking Solo Leveling is going to end its season at the end of this arc, and then they're probably going to go on a hiatus. So we'll probably swap something else in there. Moonlight
Then we do Tomb Raider King.
We could,
which is another Solo Leveling, basically.
I'll have to check that one out too now then.
Well, we've still got a whole list of them. I mean, there's still God of High School that we didn't have on this list that we talked about. Tower of God on this list.
Hardcore
Leveling Warrior. I think we
Returner's Magic Special.
Yes, which we'll probably swap in here with somebody else one or two times because I really like that one too. Is a Returner's.
Yeah, a Returner's Magic Special is really good.
It's
the
really
way
good.
They portray the story and how he get isekai'd back into his
own world.
His own world, like he literally time traveled back in time.
Yeah. So each one of those, I mean, I guess for just clarity's sake, we'll kind of give like a brief breakdown subscription of each one of these that we're going to like cover. If anyone hasn't read any of them, definitely go out. We'll put a link in the description below for some of the sites you can probably find them on. Arc, you're the one that I believe you're the one that turned me on to Unordinary, or was it you, Sarah?
No, I'm pretty sure that was Sarah.
That was me.
Okay.
I'm surprised Arc managed to pull through it even though it's so long and pointless.
Dude, Unordinary, I don't.
It sounded like you struggled.
I don't hate it. It's just everyone is incompetent in that story.
Oh yeah, no, big time. Like how John, like right out the beginning, you just see him as a whole cripple. Doesn't even have any powers. He just knows how to fight. That's about it.
No, because at first you were like, okay, John is the most competent person here, and then slowly but surely you're like, wait, he's just as incompetent as everyone else.
Oh my god, just like Aslo, bro.
Yeah, just the levels go down more and more with him each time he comes up. I'm just like, wow.
Tell people what they're reading, like Unordinary, like give us a quick summary before we delve into.
Because clearly that's what we're doing already.
Yeah, so. give your summary, Arc.
It's about a kid. If you've watched Boku no Hero Academy, it's basically about a kid who apparently has no powers in a world where everyone else has superpowers, and he's being bullied in this high school. And then you eventually find out that that is not the truth, and he hides some sort of dark secret about his past and his abilities, and we just go with that.
So.
Yeah, pretty much. That's literally the summary of the entire story.
So he's just a Negamidori?
Yeah, he's an eviler Midori.
Yeah, he sounds like it seems like he was evil Midori. He's like, I want powers, but I can't have them. This one's like, no, I have something much more secret and hidden about me, but I choose to hide it. I can't
show my powers because of how strong it is.
I started out OP, but I don't want to tell anybody that.
Until later on.
Until much later on. Oh yeah. Descent of Demonic Master. Arc, that was also you as well.
Mm-hmm.
This one is me. It's
me.
about a guy who dies twice, and then on his second death, he returns back to where he originally came from, before his first death. So he has knowledge of his second life, and also knowledge of his first life, so he can correct the things as things are. But the problem is, unfortunately, because his mindset is still very much as a teenager and also as a person who lived in a world where, hey, if there's a problem, I'm just going to punch real hard and I'll solve the problem. So then now he's like, I can't do that in the real world, can I? Because there's consequences to my actions.
So instead he just finds some crazy roundabout ways to...
More or less.
To mess people over.
Yes, but it's a good story.
It is a really good story.
It's not as simple as just the might make right argument as much as the, oh crap, I have might, it can make some right, but there's probably going to be a repercussion or backlash to it. So I should watch myself. yeah, I started it not too long ago, and I'm already caught all the way up, and it's been kind of a whirlwind. I've already sent you like a few messages, Arc, every so often, like, is this actually what I think it is? Does this still happen? Or, you know, I kind of like, I'm not sure how much is carrying over from the past life to this life at times. And now we just got that reveal after the last episode, or the last chapter.
Yeah, the last chapter was really interesting. The last two chapters actually of that one was really interesting on how I can't even spoil anything, can I?
No,
I mean,
that's a good spoiler for the story. Like,
yeah, if you were to say
I was wondering how they were going to carry this, because I don't think I would have enjoyed it completely if it was just like, oh hey, this is my second life and I'm fixing everything. No, there's also like, it brings up questions like, oh hey, this has happened before. Do you think you're the only one?
Yeah, you think you're the only one who's a returner? Like,
I'm sorry. I thought you were the MC. Ah, joke's on you.
oh, psych!
Oh, that would be kind of crazy, but yeah.
I mean, it's a question that's never asked in other stories though, like that, where it's like, oh yeah, I'm also a reincarnator, or like something, and it's like, yeah.
That's what makes it really, really nice and unique. How there's others like him.
Yeah, I would like it if there was just someone walking around with a shirt on that says, "You got isekai too." Just like make it that blatant.
Right?
All right. We don't want to give all our ideas away because we might want to write we might want to write a story about that. Lock that away, Seraph. That's for later.
later on, boys.
Later on, we'll keep that going. Next one, My Wife is a Demon Queen. That one I'm actually reading more fervently for myself. Basically the same classic story for most isekais. Our main character is not a complete shut-in or anything, but kind of on that lower level of, you know, like, I could just do this with my life and just chill and relax. And he gets transported into another world in which there is, of course, just a fantasy element to it with monsters and everything, but he gets transported there by the Demon Queen instead of, like, most times it's like you get transported by the good guys and they need you to fight off the bad guys, but nope, you're helping the bad guys essentially this time around. I'm not sure if how far you two are in that or not.
I haven't started yet.
You haven't started? Alright, so that's one.
Like I told you, those are like that's one of the only ones out of the three I have to really.
Okay.
It's one of the stories where it's like, oh, I'm a main character, but I have no powers. The only thing I have is my own imagination and the knowledge I bring from the other world. Which
is nice, because I'm trying to remember the name of that anime that kind of had the same thing a little bit there. Was it Magic and Knights, or
kind of, where the kid wanted to build giant Gundams.
The kid basically showed up in another world, and they have like pseudo mechas, and he was just like, oh cool, I'm really into that, and he just brings his knowledge of basically like Gundam and other stuff into their world and just builds giant mech robots for them, and they're just like, what? This is kind of in that same vein where he brings knowledge of our world, so he has knowledge of physics and engineering, but in their world, one of the things for magic is that they can just draw stuff and it becomes physically real. So he's just doing simple inventions. So he makes a bicycle, and everyone freaks out. It basically just becomes the new transportation for everyone in the city, and he's just like, everyone does this. This is just a simple thing for us. But later on, he starts building like guns, and that's when shit gets real. But yeah,
it's kind of like Knights of Magic then, in a sense, because this dude. Yeah, have you guys watched Knights of Magic?
Yes, I watched.
That's exactly what we were just making the
reference
to.
Yeah, we were making the reference to.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. It's exactly like that. It's all right.
And I'm reading.
Next one on the list, Legendary Moon Sculptor. Season 2's just started. I'm so happy with this one.
Man, I was surprised season 2 even started. I don't know how long we waited for the hiatus. We're like, oh.
It was like 2 or 3 years, I think. Man, I think it was like 2.
Was it that long? Man,
well, I mean, okay. So I found out later on that the creator, the reason he had stopped and hadn't started back up is because there was a death in the family. And I thought that was like the reason there was just a huge gap. But apparently he was working on another side webtoon at the same time, pretty much in the same vein of Moonlight Sculptor. So I guess that ended, and then they decided, okay, now we're gonna get back to this. So I don't know. It's fine. It started again, and we're all happy. That should be the key.
It hasn't become another hiatus hiatus.
It hasn't become yes, Hunter x hiatus. Which I know that our other friends have made a joke of commonly that, you know, it's probably going to go on hiatus again for however indeterminate amount of time when they finish the current arc. But Legendary Moonlight Sculptor, our MC, which I know Seraph and I were talking about this earlier, in this world, it's your normal world. It's literally just the regular world, but there's a very popular video game called Royal Road, and the main character is one of the players in this game, and nothing seems really out of the ordinary till he decides, like, hey, I'm just gonna stop playing, I don't want to do this anymore, and he decides to sell his character. Well, lo and behold, I guess in this world, for some reason, the character has incredible armaments or something, and it's super sought after. After one night of sleeping, he comes back after the auction's completed, and he just has amassed a massive amount of wealth overnight.
Around 3 billion, 90
Yes.
million won, which is quite a lot in US dollars.
Regardless, 3 billion in anything is a lot.
Yeah, exactly. And that mainly could be because of the fact that, like, all of his stats were completely maxed out, like as max as you can get it. Level 1000, he has all the best armor, he has all the best items, he has all the most rarest things. That's why his character was so sought out for, because of how much time he took into grinding for all those things that nobody else wants to do. Exactly. They rather just buy it than fucking go for it themselves.
Exactly. So that's kind of what sets the character apart. Now, the thing that actually makes the story move forward there is that after he sells the character, and, you know, like, oh, I'm well off, I can, you know, afford to feed my family, I can put my sister through college, and, you know, take care of their grandparent. All of a sudden, the mob shows up and it's like, hey, guess what? Your family had a massive amount of debt, and we're here to take all your money. And instead, he makes basically a deal with them that he can do what he did in Royal World again in another game, and basically make a character so sought after that he'll sell it and make a massive amount of money for them. So that's where the story goes from there, is he's basically starting from zero, and we get to watch him do all the actions that normally we would see other people do as boring. But it's really compelling because he basically, in this new game, he finds all of, like, the unknown hidden paths that people don't see or can't take because of the way he plays games.
He's just very strategic about it. He knew what to do. The second he hopped in, he knew exactly what he was doing. He knew exactly how to go through it.
Well, it's even that one thing with, like, saying know exactly what to do is, like, oh, most people go to the training area, and he's like, and they just, like, do the base tutorial and then leave. It's like, he's like, no, I'm gonna stand here and, you know, I'm gonna train an extra 10 hours on this. And that somehow unlocked a story quest because the trainer saw him as someone interesting, and then gives him an extra amount of lessons or skills. And you're like, oh, so he just really, he doesn't just do that base grind, he goes that extra distance grind.
No, he's that guy in, like, MMOs who discovers all the fucking Easter eggs, and he's like, oh, apparently no one's done this before. That's all it really is. It's just like, oh, no one apparently took the time to just sit here and train for 24/7 for, like, these days straight, and I'm the only person who's done it before. So. Oh yeah,
it's very much with that. It just started its second season. Right now we're in the middle. They haven't pulled in all the other characters, but they did make a quick flashback to all the previous characters and that they're still there. So I'm actually excited to see everyone else get back into the group.
I'll be honest, I completely forgot a lot of those characters.
I did too. I mean, it makes sense for the way he does it, because he very much wants to be like a solo level player, but he manages to find other people that are willing to group with him, and they're just astounded by, like, the amount of skill or power he has just for being, like, I mean, when you look at his profession, he's just a sculptor, he's an artisan, and yet he's able to, like, tank full bosses by himself. So yeah, great read. if you want to start somewhere, that's definitely a goal, I would say, for anybody. Next up, Peerless Dad. Ark, you and I really like this.
Yes, I do love this.
Which is really hard for me to even grasp from you, since I know you do not like the other work from the same artist, which is in the same world.
No.
Red Star.
Yes. You don't like the convolutedness of it.
No, yes,
very much stated that.
I don't like Red Storm because it was good at the beginning. It was great. And then it got to the point where there's so many characters that like I was like, okay, who's talking now? I don't know who. And that's the part where, like I said, I read trash. Right? I read trash all the time. But there's a certain point when like you're like, okay, this is too trash now, guys. There's so much. I have to be able to understand what's going on, at least with trash, all right? I'll be able to sort it, okay?
I think that this is definitely, that was like the creator's first work, like popularized work, and Peerless Dad is all of the notes he took because it's a lot more succinct, and I feel like they're trying to like get that back in Red Storm, because I've noticed now, at least in the later chapters, that they haven't done any like odd transitional jumps to other people that aren't the main character. They've mostly stuck with that, and when they do have those little jumps, it's on the situation that's currently happening. It's not like some outside thing that's occurring that may somehow play into the story. So there's some fixes in there, but still. But Peerless Dad, the dad's just awesome. I mean, Ark, come on, he's just so awesome.
Okay.
Especially for
so
the same.
Peerless Dad.
Yeah.
Let's give us a quick summary. All right, it's about a story about a father who basically was a mercenary, and he eventually found a wife who dies during childbirth, and during this time he believes that throughout his entire life that he's like, oh, I've been told by my master that I was a weak person and I should never ever actually fight against other people, when the truth is it's like, no, you're like one of the stupidest, strongest people alive. You've just like been given this sort of like what's that called?
I'm trying to remember.
And low self-esteem.
Oh.
Like you've been given, yeah, he has low self-esteem, so he has no self-confidence in his skills. So we watch as he uses his skills in order to, deal with problems with his children. He teaches them a little bit, and like it's a good wholesome story that also has a little bit of fighting at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that like the main character, very much like he does not want his children to fight. Like he just doesn't want to teach them martial arts at all. He wants them to all go to school and become smart people and make money that way, because he thinks his way of life is like low class and demeaning. So yeah, it's fun when you like get the few flashbacks of him talking to his master, especially the training, which was just, all right, so we're gonna make you tough, and he's just beating him with a rod for like days on end. And like, that's training. I'm like, so there was like no like punching or anything? Nope, we're just gonna beat you. All right, I guess, but I know in the later chapters right now that he's starting to like see things a little differently. I know that the kids are now getting sought after because apparently just the base level of his teaching to them makes them almost better than any other child at martial arts. So just being in his gene pool is already a godsend. But yeah, like you said, Art, it is like a really wholesome story with some fighting on it. I don't know if in the later they will get more fighting, or it seems like they're probably pushing towards that in some way, because some outside people have started to come in. Do you know if they've made any more like comments to the other master? Because I know his granddaughter is like floating around.
Oh, you mean like where he is?
Well, we know that he's gone, but it's more like the granddaughter, because she's supposed to be doing something, like she's searching for like the demonic church or the heavenly church.
We don't know yet. We'll find out.
Okay.
We'll find out. There's nothing yet. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'm always worried.
Because we do know that in Red Storm, the old master does return once, technically. Yes. So we don't know if that is at some point in this part of the story too later.
Okay. Seraph, if you actually started reading or read any of Red Storm?
I have. I'm like on chapter 278, I think.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to remember. Have you gotten to the fight where he like meets Jesus almost?
Noya meets Jesus, or
Not. Yeah, Noya meets Jesus.
Yeah.
The farmer on the random plane that he just happens
the
to come
farmer
by.
in the other realm that he managed to get into. And he was like, "Hey yo, you trying to square up? You trying to catch the smoke? What's good?"
I don't care if they like. That's just the weirdest one-off. It was perfect. Just I need to leave here. I was like, well, you can't. Well, I mean, I have this thing. Oh, well, I want that. No. Well, I'm gonna have to kill you and take it. Okay, let's see if you can. And
then they both just fucking go all out right off
yes,
the beginning.
just right out of the beginning, and then and then he just and the greatest thing at the end, they just annihilate existence, and he's like, hey, you're not supposed to use powers. Like, oh, I'm sorry, I totally forgot about that. And they just reverse everything. It's just like, so his master's just God, just a living God that they just do. But I just love that fight. That fight's great. Solo leveling. Who wants to talk about this? Because we've been talking about it like 5-6 times.
Yeah, we really did.
I think this might be the unanimous
basis
one.
of the story of solo leveling is there's a guy named Seong Jinwoo. Oh,
Yep.
I fucking said that right. Korean guys, let me know.
And we're just gonna get tons of comments. Just, oh my god, the spelling and everything you said is wrong.
It's about Seong Jinwoo, who is the world's weakest hunter. He's rank E, and every time he goes into a dungeon, he's always the only one who manages to get hurt and gets fucked up. Like, absolutely just fucked up.
Even when it's just like, we're doing a collector mission, and he somehow manages to still get scraped.
Yeah, he manages to still get scrapped up. And then they end up entering this dungeon where it becomes a dual dungeon. And basically a dual dungeon is a dungeon within a dungeon. And it's literally like a fucking rank S dungeon that they fucking have to survive through.
Yeah, I don't think they were prepared for this. As General Akbar just comes on the screen. Nope!
Yeah, pretty much that's exactly what fucking happened. The second they entered, they're like, oh crap. Only one who figures out this whole dungeon is Jinwoo, because he knows how to fucking read.
Yes, he actually takes the time to read. The greatest skill ever. If you just read the instructions, you won't die 10 seconds later.
Like everybody else did.
Oh man, that was a brutal run.
And then right after that dual dungeon, he manages to get some powers. As if you guys read The Gamer,
yep.
It's pretty much similar to The Gamer on how he gets his powers.
Okay.
He almost dies for it, but it's great.
I mean, you know, it's a common trait for all all shonens like this. Anything like that, you almost have to at the point of like death before you get like this amazing power set or cool new ability.
You ever watch Dragon Ball Z?
No. What's it about? I've never heard of it. Yeah, just the story, the character is interesting. Granted, it stays 100% focused on him. The overall sets of the world, like everything kind of in the whole world works like a video game. In some ways, there's rankings and classes between everybody, but with his power, it like truly becomes like a video game where he has levels to everything, and as well as stat boosts and everything like that. Like he can see all of these things that would basically be like a HUD and stuff, but no one else does. Yeah, I was at the beginning. I thought this was gonna fall into a lot of like different tropes really fast, because you know, just power sets and just an over-leveled character just killing everything really fast. But it's been super fun, and each time, you know, when he does fight into a dungeon, he's somewhat prepared, but it's not as like the easiest cakewalk ever. But I do like a lot of the like long big splash screens that they do of him when he gets a new ability. Him fighting the ogre, all the ogres.
Oh, the orcs, the high orcs,
the high orcs,
the supreme orc.
Yes. Oh, that's splash screen.
Chapter 73 to 78.
Yep. I also like that his attitude changes too as he gets stronger. Like he's super passive in the beginning, and then like now he's just like
Just so much more aggressive. He's like, "Alright, you see that big ass motherfucker over there? He's getting scrapped."
that I'm gonna kill that. But also trying to like hide his power set, and also for the fact that like a lot of the other tough people all seem to be a little psychotic.
Well, everyone has big dick syndrome. It's basically what it is.
Oh yeah, literally. Except for like what's his name? The wolf guy. Bak Hyun.
No. He did have big dick syndrome until he realized that this guy had a bigger dick, and he's like, "Oh, there are bigger dicks out there."
I think the one with the biggest dick was the dude who went from Korea to America.
I mean, that was the one dude who he like straight up was gonna scrap, but then the one person that appeared, and I went, oh, okay.
Now we know that there's some sort of connection, and that's probably. Let's not talk about that.
Let's not go. That's spoiler territory, but
that's a little far ahead. That's
a little far ahead. But yeah, the fact that like it's not just like the one thing that they do for this one is that it's all the entire world is like this. It's not just only in Korea, but like America's got their own ranker people, and then so does
Japan's
like
got their own high ranked
yeah.
hunters, and then you got like Germany and shit like that, Russia.
Yeah. So I'm kind of
literally
hoping,
the entire world.
Yeah, so I'm really hoping
hunters.
to see like other people from other countries come in and like see what their like abilities and powers are like, because that seems like that would be really interesting, and the creator clearly put that in so that they could have a little bit more fun with that too. But yeah. Solo Leveling's just been such a great blast, such fun. I'm excited to see that one continue. Like I said before, that they're in the middle of basically the Hunter x Hunter ants arc right now, where they're on the island fighting ants, literally ants.
Yeah, they're literally fighting giant ants.
Oh man,
that can fly, you know.
Oh shit. They've reached a whole new level. Our last one here, Enso's Law. Seraph, you just started this one,
really
but
cute.
This one is really fun.
It's entertaining.
It's very entertaining. Ark, you're the one that brought this one to my attention.
It's about a main character who's a girl who wakes up one day in another world, but unfortunately, it's a world where it's like a otome game. It's like, like you live in a world where all the tropes of a shoujo game exists. Yeah, like a web novel exists. We're like, I go to a school where there are these 4 fantastic, beautiful boys, and there's the one main character, and then the main character girl realizes that she's not the main character girl. She's the girl in the background. Secondary character. She's the supporting character. And then she's like, I don't want to deal with any of this because I know how it is in a video game where there's going to be a shit ton of drama, and I just don't want any of this, please.
Yeah, I do like that she's very aware of her situation, and she's doing everything in her power to just avoid every situation that she can, but seemingly falls into that trope. Yeah, I thought this was going to be really lighthearted at first as reading it, but then the later parts of the story like kind of hit you really hard, and I was like,
when we get to the realization as to like why it's actually truly troublesome.
Yes.
Oh, hey, I exist in this world. Do I exist in this world? What would? Yeah. There's a lot of like.
Hello.
Yeah, there's a lot of like connotations that are not brought up in most isekai stories that this story brings up, that you're like, oh, I've never thought like what would actually happen like in this situation.
Yeah. And that part of the story I really enjoy, seeing how that plays out, and then even like trying to like kind of feel like with what they're trying to portray with the character, like I should be on board with one set of her feelings, but then something occurs and I'm kind of like, no, I kind of feel like it should be this, but your whole goal is this other thing. So it's just real fun and interesting to see how they're actually taking the story and kind of where it could go. I know that the story doesn't start at the end, right? It starts it actually has an actual beginning.
No, it has an actual beginning. It kind of like starts in the middle, and she kind of explains how we got to that point.
How we're getting to this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's not like Unordinary where it literally starts at the end and then you go through the whole thing.
Yeah,
No.
no, it starts at the beginning, and then they do like various time skips.
Oh yes, various giant time jumps.
3 years later.
I mean, you know, everyone's got to have that that Naruto shonen jump a little bit, you know? Just do that festival jump and all of a sudden everyone's an adult. This way we can skip all that other crap. Get to the interesting bits. So I'd say out of all of those that we just listed and talked about, what would each of you think would be interesting to see turned into an anime, or just picked up for regular publication?
Peerless Dad.
Peerless
You know
Dad.
that. No.
Yeah. For me, I would love to see Solo Leveling become an anime.
I think I would like Solo Leveling as an anime. I just visually, it looked like it would be really, really cool.
Yeah, Solo Leveling, and even though it's not on the list, God of High School. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely God of High School. I would definitely get the fights in that are just crazy, super crazy.
Yeah, the fights are nuts.
Do you remember when the universe just blinked out for a second that one year? I really wish gods would not do that. It'd be great. Out of just everything that we talked about there, were there any other like notable mentions that you guys had there? I mean, you just brought up God of High School.
God of High School is definitely a notable mention because of the way how it started out for just it being high school students to fight each other.
I mean, I like how God of High School has developed, but you know, and then what you guys have mentioned with like, oh my gosh, Tower of God and hardcore leveling, I can't do those guys. They hurt.
I like Tower of God. It's just really depressing.
It's oh my gosh, it's not even depressing. It's so hard to read. It's so cringeworthy at that time. It's just like, it's like I get it. Okay, I get people like I get the whole revenge story, and I get the whole like, oh hey, this bitch was a bitch, and I get to now like treat her poorly because she's a bitch. But man, I feel like it takes things too far at times. It's like, okay, there's no point to this. I feel like people are incompetent. I have problems with people who are incompetent.
Clearly, this is that very much affects you on some level there, quite a bit. I still have to find a catch-up point for that because I stopped at a very far back, and I'm still trying to catch up with God of High School as it is currently, because I know I dropped off right around the first season end. So,
we're on the last season now, so supposedly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
like,
we're hitting around the last bits of God of High School.
Oh, okay, that's good. Then I know I have like 100 chapters to read
catch up on
and be all caught up there. But yeah, out of those two, those are definitely I would say
ones we'll have to add on later on.
Add on at some point later on. We might discuss between if we wanted to Tower of God, since that clearly seems to be affecting one of us more than others. But there are always.
If you need me to read trash, I will read trash.
I won't force you to read trash. Okay.
What a real man. He's like, if you need me to do this, I'll fucking do it.
I mean, if I wanted him to hurt, I'd be like, no, we're gonna do Red Storm right now, and he has to go through all of that. But yeah, that'll be for later stuff. We pretty much hit everything that we were gonna talk about today. So, I mean, unless you guys got something else you want to kind of throw out there.
No, not particularly. I think we touched everything we needed to. Introductions. We talked about these stories. If we're going to do this again, in about 2 weeks or so, I feel like.
I figured that we'll probably run on a 2-week schedule since, I mean, all of this, is creator-owned content, so they don't have a real set schedule that they have to stick to. But most of them seem pretty good at, about 7 to 9 days turnaround, though that can always be up in the air. So we figured give them 2 weeks, we get at least a chapter or two out of them, and then we have something to really go over. Seraph, I know that you actually have a separate streaming thing that you do for games and stuff. I know that you're going to hopefully pop us on that sometime, so you'll probably catch us live.
Yeah, you guys can be able to catch us live through my stream. I'll send the link to Sleepy,
Yep.
so then we can be able to. I had to think about that real quick.
Yeah, your brain just like, oh, no.
Yeah, I'll send the link to Sleepy, so then you guys can be able to come by, hang out, and watch and discuss with us.
Oh yeah, so it's cool.
Leave me the fuck alone. So that is.
We'll defer all. Well, we're gonna make a Dropbox, and we're just gonna go ahead and push all questions to Ark here, and he'll just answer every one of them for you perfectly. It'll be great.
We had to do it via profoundly.
But definitely check us out here. We'll be back hopefully in 2 weeks with some more content. In the meantime, of course, as you've all noticed here with Project Webtoon, we're also underneath the banner of the Project Manga podcast over on the same channel. Go ahead and check them out. The guys over there are great. Kiko, Nox Eagle, they've been on for just about
a couple months now.
They started up a little while ago, but all of their content has been really, really hot. I know hopefully we'll do a cross up over there with them anytime soon, but definitely check out
So I can talk how bad Hachimaru is. That's fine.
Yes. I feel like our podcast and their podcast are basically going to be a dueling fight at some point between some of the choices of mangas and shows they want to watch. I swear it's probably going to happen. So.
Sarah, that's exactly going to happen, and we gotta make it happen.
So Seraph, I hope you're ready for the challenge because it's going to occur.
I'm excited for it.
Oh yeah. I'll leave a link to them as well so that they can go ahead and you can hit over there. But I think that we're good for today. It's been real fun. I've been looking forward to this for a while, and I'm hoping to do more coming up here later. So I think we can shovel off here a little bit, huh?
Yeah, just make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below if you guys want to be able to make sure we get the content right away. Make sure to hit that bell.
Yeah, let us know how much you like this. You got some suggestions? You might have a new webtoon that you want us to even check out. Go ahead and leave it in the below there. But for the Project Webtoon cast, I am your host again, Sleepy.
This is our Dragoon.
Hey.
I am Seraph. It's nice to meet y'all.
Yeah. All right, all of y'all, take it easy out there.